Hey everybody, how you going? Hope you're all well as always. Welcome to a different video today, and if you don't like the sound of my voice and rambling, probably isn't the video for you. But today we're going to be doing a question and answer, my first one. Seeing that we've hit 7,000 subscribers, that's insane. Like every day I wake up, I cannot believe that I've had this many people interested in what I do. It's fantastic, and I appreciate every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, it's just amazing. So thank you all so much for even just watching. Any time you put into watching anything that I do, it means the world to me, so thank you so much. Now, I've got over 150 questions from you guys, so I'm just going to go over most of them. So if your question doesn't get answered and it's very similar to someone else's, don't worry, I saw every single question that came out, so we're going to make sure that we get through all of them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and sit in the patrol, and we'll talk absolute rubbish. Okay guys, so we're in the patrol, and hopefully you can hear me well. It's usually pretty good in here. I just had to put the windows up because it was a bit windy. So now I have all your questions on my phone, which is good. Like I said, I had over 150 questions, and that was just like a lot. It was crazy. So I'm gonna answer every one I can that isn't the same as the other, of course. If I do butcher your name, I'm so sorry. It's just that, yeah, a lot of these names are really hard to pronounce, so if I do butcher your name, you know who you are. I apologize if I do. So getting straight into it, Bradley.ka asked, what is my age? My age is 24 years young. The Slow 03 asked, will you ever do a meet and greet? Well, yeah, we had a meet 2 weeks ago. I think it was just before lockdown, and it was actually quite successful. It was sort of a last minute thing me and my friend put together. So any meets in that I'll be putting on my social medias and stuff. So I'm thinking about doing, once this beast is on the road, we might do a 4-wheel drive meet at somewhere that's local, nearby. Get all the 4-wheel drives together. That'll be sick, because I haven't really been to a 4-wheel drive meet, I don't think. Like 4-wheel drives come to meets, but yeah, never really been to one. So yeah, we'll definitely do a 4-wheel drive meet soon, and then obviously we'll have one for JDM cars. And yeah, usually when we do a meet, it's usually pretty multicultural, everything can come. So keep an eye on my socials for any meets coming up. X_Shack_X. How did you become such a legend? Mate, you're the legend. You know that. Cooper_Shachi. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that. Shach? I don't know. What do you think is better, R31 or R32? Better? I'm not sure about better. My personal favorite, just from like Group A racing back in the day, would be the 32, just because racing history. Racing heritage is a big thing to me, because I love my motorsports. The 32 was a substantial car in motorsports. It was just so ahead of its time back then. It just destroyed competition. And yeah, the 31 back in the Group A days were quite a bit of a bucket to drive, according to old race car drivers, same as the DR30s. But I do like 31 coupes and a 32 GDST, so it's hard. I'd say I like 32s a bit more. Yeah, can't beat the RB26 and stuff like that. MZ Bike Life, he asks, what do you do, or what do you work as full-time? Full-time, I don't actually have a full-time job. I'm just part-time contracted at Woolworths. Pretty much just do night fill. That's stack shelves from 10 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning. That's my job, and you know, it's great pay because of the penalty rates. That's why I do it. And it's an easy job, because like you can just, you know, just muck around and do what you want to do, and then during the day I can wake up and do the thing I love, which is muck around with cars. So that's what I do. I get asked what I do for work all the time, and yeah, I just work in a supermarket. I just love being able to have that, you know, leniency of coming home and be able to work on the cars during the day, especially during the day. I mean, winter, yeah, it sucks because of the weather, but you know, sometimes I can pull a car into the garage. You know, we'll see what happens. It's all dependent on the weather. This guy, your name is really hard to pronounce. Ty Slangit. Ever been defected? If so, tell us a story. Yeah, I've been defected quite a few times. In my 31, actually twice in my 31. The best story was I had a V8 Lexus. It was an LS400, my daily. It was on my P's at the time, so like I had it registered in my mum's name. And I was just driving, me and my mate were going to Autobarn. We're just going to buy some car, like just products. This highway patrol just like drove past us in the opposite direction, and it just banged a U-turn. It cut like 4 cars off, didn't even put its lights on, then just drove up my ass. And then like there were 2 female sergeants, and yeah, they pulled me over, and it was just a lowered Lexus, had wheels on it, and they pulled me over, and they're just like, is this your car? I said, no, it's my mum's, because it was my mum's name. And they said, okay, so is your mum a hoon? I said, no. I just drive the car. They pulled me over. They went through the car with a fine-tooth comb, trying to get me for everything. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just, you know, chilling, kicking back. And yeah, they went over the car. They got me for a frayed seatbelt. So the seatbelt here had some frays on it, so they got me for that. They got me for ride height, even though they didn't check it, and they got me for wheel poke. So what I did was I they got me a major roadworthy, all that stuff, major defect with a roadworthy, so I had to get a roadworthy. The funny story about that is I barely changed the car and it passed. I barely did anything to the car and it passed roadworthy, and then it passed Vic Roads. And Vic Roads said to me, what happened to the car? And I said, oh, I told them what went wrong, and they laughed because they were like, Jesus, they were pretty harsh on you, because the car was completely fine. So obviously the seatbelt was one issue, which, yeah, if it's frayed, obviously replace it, but yeah, they were just pretty funny. Funny story. I'll put a photo up of my car pulled over with the highway patrol. So yeah, that's one funny story. So Chazza_17, he asks, what do you prefer, Ford or Holden? Now, I'm one of those rare breeds where I love everything, okay? So like going back to like racing heritage when I was young, I was a bit more of a Holden guy because my family grew up around the Holdens. Even though my dad had XBs and stuff, you know, when I was growing up, mum had an SS, a brand new SS VY. So I always wanted HRT teams to win, just going up the Holden. But I'm that guy that loves everything. I've got a 1968 XR Falcon, I've got the VL Commodore. I love them both just as much as each other. Prefer Ford or Holden? Old school, I'd say Ford, because, you know, the XB, XC coupes are one of the best looking bloody muscle cars that come out of this country. And then new school, I'm a big fan of Club Sports SSs and stuff, so it's really hard what I prefer. I love them both just as much as each other. I'm very open-minded. I'm very I don't know, it's just I'm really, it's hard, but yeah, I do love either one just as much as each other. But yeah, if we're gonna go really down to a T, I'd say old school Ford, new school Holden. Wabang asks, I know you're keeping her stock, but surely you put Ford SR to good use. Love you too, Wabang. Yeah, well, definitely gonna, because the engine I got forged when I was like 16 or no, 17. I want to open her up a little bit, even just make like, you know, 300, 350 kilowatt. That would be beautiful, especially for, you know, my first car. I don't want to go nuts with it. I just want to drive it. So yeah, we'll do some supporting mods to it and actually open that little engine up. So that'll be the future for the 180 for sure. Seb W.2003 asks, best cop story. Yeah, well, I've had a few. You know, if there's any police officers watching, sorry. I got into a cop chase in my 32 about a year ago. I put subframe bushes in the back of it, and it's a little bit damp, so I clicked third gear, and I was just like completely sideways, one of the streets not far from my house. And as I was completely sideways, full lock, there was a police van parked opposite me, and I looked straight at their eyes. I looked straight at them while they were just in absolute shore shock that I was doing that in front of them. And as I straightened up, they put their lights on, and they come after me like hotcakes. And I turned my lights off and just booked it through side streets, and I got home so fast. I almost ripped my bumper bar off coming in the driveway. Closed the garage door, and I said to my mum, I said, if you see any cars drive past, I'm not home. She's just like, what have you done now? And I'm just like, don't ask questions, it's nothing happened. So yeah, that was a funny cop story. I've had a few other cop chases, but we'll leave it at that one for now. Otherwise this video will go too long. Same dude, Seb W.2003, don't worry, I know who you are. He asks, no budget, all-time dream car. Whoa, all budget, no budget, no budget. Probably a Mazda 787B. Yep, one of my favorite cars of all time. Group C racing. Probably a Pagani Zonda R as well. Yeah, that'll be my all-time dream car with no budget. _Munkle asks, thoughts on Mazda 3s in particular. Great question, because Mazda 3s, Mazda 6s, they're probably my favorite daily cars. They're a great get around, grocery getter. Just a daily in general, they're a great car. Skyactiv Mazdas. Yeah, I can't really fault them. Most people I know that have them absolutely have no horror stories with them. There might be some people out there that might have something else to say about them, but yeah, from what I know personally, worked on a few at my old job when I was a mechanic, and they were phenomenal cars, nice and easy to service, easy to get parts for. Yeah, Mazda 3s, good cars, honestly. So Max_Lamas_351 asks, dream car. So before Seb asked no budget dream car, now he's asking my dream car. So my actual dream car is a first generation Audi R8. So that's the first generation with the V8, with the manual, or the V10. They are my favorite cars. I remember when I went to city school in 2008 or 9. I was in like year 8. I was in year 8. I saw my first Audi R8 at a dealership, and honestly, I looked at it and I just started crying because I thought it was one of the most beautiful cars I'd ever seen. Yeah, so that is one of my dream cars. Also a 3000 GT Mitsubishi. It's another dream car of mine. And an NSX, so a first gen NSX NA1, a manual, that's another dream car of mine, but NSXs are so expensive, it's actually half the price to buy an R8 manual. Fraser_Parsons asked, how do you know if you pull a car apart, it'll go back together? Great question. To me, I always see a car as like a piece of furniture. You can take it apart, and if you really know your way around things, you can put it back together. Now, what I mean by that is, like, just be really careful when you take things apart. Take lots of photos, take videos, be really organized. So, like, put your bolts in the right patterns. If you got bolts at different lengths, make sure you like label them all. So if you're ever going to pull something apart, obviously what I usually do is just I look into things first. I'll do a lot of research, and then if you're not too shabby on it, if you take things apart, just take photos. That's what I find the best thing. And if you're lucky, there'll be pictures of online of things blown apart, and you can see what they look like. So yeah, just take your time. Heath Graham asks, when's the XR getting started? Parts are still waiting. Thanks, man. I know I'll go come pick those parts up. XR will be starting very soon. I'm going to start getting into that with the rust stuff very soon. Just buy some patch panels for it. And it's sitting over there right now. And yeah, I just got to figure out what patch panels I'm going to need. I'm going to need floors for it. I'm going to need rear quarters, so stuff like that. I've already gone over a little bit and just S-prime all the rust that's there. So we can sort of save it. So yeah, very soon, get stuck into the VL first, of course, and times that I get bored of the VL, yeah, I'll putty over to the XR and have a bit of a change. So Trent_Bunkersmith asks, hey mate, love the videos. Thanks very much, man. Congrats. What do you think of Toyota Hilux 3 litre? Toyota Hilux 3 litre, depending on what year. Yeah, I remember my dad used to have one as a work car, 3 litre Hilux, and that was completely bulletproof. It was fine. He used to give it absolute hell. Yeah, good cars, man. Especially, I don't know if it's your first four-wheel drive or yeah, whatever. Yeah, jump in a Luxy Toyota, you can't go wrong. R31 Pintara Wagon asks, how much money do you reckon you've poured into cars? Now, this is something I never, ever try and think of, because it sort of throws away the fun aspect of cars. But yeah, how much money I've thrown away in cars, Jesus, and that includes all the cars I've owned. It'll be hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't know, for going off. Yeah, I ought to calculate it one day. It'd be crazy to think of how much I've spent, but it's kind of scary when you look at it that way. But yeah, it'll be probably over 100 grand, I'd say, since I was 16. Tiff.ella, she asks, what's the easiest way to approach you at the gym? For Zach. So, easiest way to approach me at the gym, just come say hello. I'm the most talkative, relaxing, easygoing guy. I will hold a conversation. I don't stop talking. I love to talk. Don't be shy to come say hello. I'm just like everyone else, trust me. So yeah, just come say hello. Don't be afraid. If I got my AirPods in, just come up to me and just say hello. Like, honestly, I love when people come chat. I'm always down for a conversation. All right, Josh_Vandenbroek asks, when are we seeing the big rig out on tracks? When's its debut location? So currently sitting in it now, and I just put the video out last week of the freshening up. So I'm just doing a couple other things on it. Got a little exhaust leak to muck around with, and fix up the snorkel and stuff like that. So yeah, the big rig should be out in the tracks very soon, because I still got to do the freaking transfer case and the front diff. So once they're done, debut location will be somewhere local. It'll be Mount Disappointment, or it'll be like King Lake. Probably Mount Disappointment, because that's only like 20 minutes from me. So yeah, that'll be probably the debut location, and yeah, we'll have to definitely run her in, if you know what I mean. All right, I just had a little break then, because I noticed there was a bit of glare coming off the windscreen, so I put like a freaking thing on the windscreen so it didn't glare. Back to questions. So William Thornton, he asks, what do you plan on doing with your channel in the future? Would you like to turn into a full-time job? Because we all know you're getting 1 million subs. Thank you for your ambitious comment, man. That means a lot. Plan with the channel for the future. So I haven't really got any plans for it for the future. I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I really enjoy what I'm doing at the moment. It's really fun. There's no stress, no pressure. I sort of do it as a hobby, you guys know. Maybe one time full-time, depending on how things go. Yeah, it'll be awesome. Yeah, see how far we've grown in such a small period of time. It's crazy. Yeah, for the future, yeah, hopefully I can keep doing what I'm doing. We're going to be moving very soon. We've got some news to put out. I'll put out in another video just so it's a bit easier on my other viewers that don't watch this type of videos. Hopefully very soon we're going to have Expand, but I'm still going to keep all the driveway situation, just like, you know, to appeal to the other average person that wants to work on their car. But yeah, like, I love doing what I'm doing now. I don't want to try and expand too much and take things away of the type of videos I put out that's really relatable to you guys. So yeah, if I ever hit a 1 million subs, that'll be, yeah, I'll probably faint. I almost fainted when I hit 1,000 subs, so we'll go to show when we get anywhere close to that, if we ever get anywhere close to that. But yeah, thanks William for the question. Riley Shores, what are your thoughts on a 4.2 diesel and the 4.8 petrol? Patrols. Love you, no homo. Nah, mate, love you back, but I love you full homo. What are my thoughts on the 4.2? Honestly, they're great. I love TDs. They're sick. A few guys I know have them, and yeah, they're bloody awesome. If you keep them completely standard, just drive them. They're fine. Once you start putting crazy power into them, that's when they start having issues. But yeah, kettle jokes aside, yeah, if I ever had another GU, I'd love a 4.2 as a daily, just to putt around in. And the 4.8 petrol patrol is probably my favorite personal factory patrol engine. The 4.8, you're never late in a 4.8. So yeah, that's what I think about them. Jam Baby asks, are you going to put 37-inch treps on the GU? I've actually got 36-inch trekkers out the back, in the backyard. I don't know if you remember when I first got the video, they were when I first got the patrol, they were the original wheels that were on it. So I've got them out the back with the bead locks on it. So that's what I'm going to be running when we go out to the bush. But when we're driving around town, I'll be running the 33s, which are on it now, because they're all-terrain, so they're nice and quiet. Aussie 4x4 asks, what's your future plans for the patrol, and would you ever own a TD42 patrol? Yes, I would own a TD42 patrol for sure. Future plans for this patrol, honestly, just to drive it, have fun, enjoy it. I'm going to daily it for a bit. Down the track, I'm going to end up supercharging it. I want to have a supercharged V8 patrol. That'd be cool. So yeah, that's probably the future. And yeah, just kit it up. You know, roof rack, awning. Just all the bare essentials. Have a 12-volt system, dual battery. It used to have all that stuff on it, so I'm just going to redo it all. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So Fargan asks, what's your opinion on a VS Clubby? I built a VT1 mock-up, all genuine Clubby parts, and VT Getrag gearbox. That's pretty cool. Yeah, any Clubby I love, man. Honestly, any Clubby I love. Whether it's VT, VS, VY, VZ, whatever. I love all Clubbies. Yeah, and if you built a B21 mock-up, that's sick. I love cop cars in general. So yeah, no, I love Clubbies, man. And yeah, you've done a nice little build there by the looks of it. Hayden Carter asked, how much would an LS1 swap cost on a GU, as I've just done my head in my 4.5? Sorry to hear, mate. That sucks. Look, I never converted this myself, but I was definitely about to purchase it all for my other patrol, my white RD28 GU. Now, the cost I was looking at to do it myself was probably going to be 7 to 8 grand. That's doing it myself, because I got a spare LS for a grand, so like I lucked out in the engine. People I know that get it engineered can spend up to about 15 to 18,000 on an LS swap if it's a 6-litre, or you know, that's engineered as well. So yeah, it sort of varies depending on if you're going to get a shop to do it, if you're going to do it yourself. That's the only advice I can give you. But I know a couple other people that have LS swapped patrols, and they've spent around the 10,000 mark. So that's with the Marks kit, of course. A lot of people don't go with the Castle main kit with the GUs, because you've got to massage the firewall to get the cylinder head to fit in on the driver's side. So the Marks adapters fit amazing. So yeah, it'll probably cost you from anywhere from like 8 to 15,000. Sebastian Himsley asked, will you put a UHF in the patrol? Of course. Joseph _Moore asks, 25 asks, can you get an 80 series Land Cruiser or a Supra? I love my Toyotas, man. Honestly, I wish I had a Supra. I love Supras. When I was looking at getting a GU, I was actually looking at getting an 80 series as well, Cruiser. So 80 series Cruiser is one of my other favorite patrols. One of my other favorite four-wheel drives. So GU was my favorite, and the second favorite really closely was an 80 series. I'd love a turbo diesel 80 series. They're just so expensive. Jordan.Dezera asked, what is your end goal? That's a hard question. I don't really have an end goal. I sort of just keep kicking on as I'm going, man. Yeah, I love, my end goal is always just to wake up happy, be happy with what I do, enjoy what I do, not to stress, not to get anxiety, just take things easy. If things get in the way, it's always a challenge. Take things as a challenge, and don't throw everything away, because you know life does throw you hurdles, as cliche as that sounds. So your end goal is something that you can see yourself doing confidently, and you know, like I said, I just want to wake up happy, enjoy my life, keep doing what I'm doing now. My number one passion in life is cars. I have hobbies, so I love to just keep myself occupied and physically active as well. So good question, Jordan. Brody asks, favorite memory? Honestly, favorite memory of us, dude, is any time we've gone out drifting. It's just been a blast. Anytime we've worked on cars together, whatever. Yeah, it's just been fun. Cruises, you know it, man. So plenty more of those to come, don't you worry. We're coming into snow season not too long. Joseph _Moore 25 asks, how long have you been doing YouTube? I think we're at a year now. I think We've been doing it almost 1 year since I put out my first video. God, that actually went fast. I remember putting my first video out. Sometimes I watch it just to see the cringiness. I might put my phone here. My phone stay here? Ah, here we are. Now I'll put my phone here so I can look at it and look at you guys. Brad Levy. First car you drove pushing over 300 kilowatts, and what was it like? Good question. The first car I drove pushing over 300 kilowatts was an RZ Supra that was making 350, and that was nuts. My mate Andrew, literally, he pulled in the driveway, he just gave me the keys and he just told me to take it. He didn't even come with me. He just told me to take the car, and yeah, that was an eye-opener, because the quickest car I drove made 270 before that, so going 270 300 was 350 was crazy. And then he actually brought an R34 after that made 400 kilowatts, and he let me drive that as well, and that was insane. When it actually got traction, it was nuts. So yeah, factory RZ Supra was the first car I drove making over 300 kilowatts. Charlie Forsyth _ asks, first car. So for my first car is, I still got it, my 180. So I got videos of that. I bought that when I was in school as a project car. And yeah, I bought it in 2012. I was 16 at the time in school, and I just wanted to get into cars early and get into JDM cars. And my dad went and picked it up from Shepparton, which is like 2 hours from me. Got it for $1,000 on eBay, just bid it on it. And yeah, and I still got it today, nearly 9 years later. Nick Bebe. He asks, when's the LS1 VL vid coming? Very soon. I'm gonna start ordering stuff from Castlemaine to get the adapter kit, because they're pretty good for the Commodores. But I'm gonna start doing some engine bay prep in that thing, because obviously I've done all the underneath of it already, but I wasn't doing YouTube at the time when I did that. So I'm gonna do some videos on the engine bay prep. We're gonna paint the engine bay, and we're also gonna sand the rest of the car down and do some body work and repair that rust in the rear boot seal that runs across the back. So we'll try and do that. Wannabe Pleb, I love your name. That's sick. How do you like the RD28, or how did you like the RD28? Would you recommend it as a 4x4, or is an LS swap Y61 better? RD28 versus LS1 is a completely different ball game. Like, it's just completely different. But how I like the RD28 when I had it, it was freaking awesome. It was fucking sick. The sound it made, it just outlived everything. It was slow as hell, but it was so much fun to drive. I used to rev it out, going full driving. It would just sound like a freaking Cummins. Like, it was just cool. Yeah, they're gutless. All you gotta do is make sure your crank bolts are tight, because the freaking balancers come loose on them and they end up taking the end of the crank off and destroying the crankshaft. And then obviously they have a lot of overheating issues and stuff, and just make sure your freaking diesel pump and injectors are all good. If you're on top of all that stuff, they're quite a bulletproof engine. Yeah, personally, I just didn't like the keyway crank aspect of them, sort of like an RB. But they're a D-stroke RB30 and a diesel. That's all they are. They're awesome engines. So if it's first four-wheel drive and that, man, like, yeah, it's good to get your foot in the door to one of those. I do prefer them over a ZD. And then yeah, LS swapped to Y61. That's just a different ball game. So like myself, get into the four-wheel drive, you know, in a basic aspect, and you know, putt around the diesel for a bit, and if you get over it, pull it out and whack an LS or a Barra or something in it. So Brody Collins asks, what made you start making YouTube videos? Also, don't stop your channel, is going to blow up soon. Cheers, man, appreciate that. What made me start making videos? That's a good question, and that's a funny one, because I never really wanted to do this, as silly as that sounds. And you know, I've always been a confident dude. I've always, you know, not to blow smoke up my own ass, but I've always, you know, been really talkative and just engaging, charismatic. I've always just liked to do this kind of thing. So I remember one day I was watching Adam LZ when he first bought his cream 180, his 240 SX, and he did his first drift event. I remember my girlfriend walked in and she was watching me watch the YouTube videos. It's like 3 years ago. She's like, why don't you do this, Mark? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, why don't you do this? People will enjoy it. I'm like, and I said to my girlfriend, I'm like, who's gonna watch some mediocre Aussie bloke work on crappy rusty cars in his driveway? Turns out a lot of you like that. But yeah, that's the whole reason I started making YouTube videos. All my mates would say, like, just start filming what you do, because, like, you know, it's really, really weird. It's so normal to me, but it's weird to other people, having all these cars and just working on them in my spare time, and that's a passion. A lot of people I used to meet at car meets and that, they'd ask, you know, what do I drive? And I'd show them photos and that, and they're like, dude, start a YouTube channel, you'd freaking blow up. And I'm like, really? Like, I don't see it. You know, and obviously this patrol is sort of what you know, put the channel on the maps. Yeah, it's cool. That's what made me start. So it was a mix between my girlfriend, my friends, and randoms just saying, just do it. And then I thought to myself, what's the worst thing that can happen? Just put yourself out there. It takes a lot of courage and guts to put yourself out there. So if anyone wants to start a YouTube channel, honestly, just do it. Do it. What's the worst that could happen? No one watches, bad luck. Just push yourself. Keep pushing yourself. That's what it's all about. All right, so Commonsma Productions asks, when are the four-wheel drive videos going to be expected, man? Can't wait to see that beauty hitting some 4x4 tracks hopefully soon. Love the content and the effort you go through for us subscribers. Appreciate it, man. Honestly, yeah. When we're going to see the four-wheel drive videos, that's going to be very soon. A lot of my mates that we go four-wheel driving with all getting their 4Bs done and fixed and ready to rock. So once this is on the road too, we're all going to go out together. Hopefully the wet weather's going to be coming soon as well, so we can get some sloppy 4x4 action. Yeah, it's pretty dry at the moment because it's been warm, so yeah, hopefully very soon, my man. Chris Nask asks, when are we going to see your VL running and what are the plans for it? So the VL running, once you get the adapter kit and the wiring kit for it and the gearbox and stuff, shouldn't be too long till it's running. LSs are pretty easy to wire up. And then yeah, future plans for it, I want to go LS Turbo. I want something that literally just scares the shit out of me. Now, me and my girlfriend are sort of doing this car together. So, you know, one day I might get her on the channel. She wants to sort of, she wants to really learn how to do things, and she needs to be able to drive it. So I'd like to have a T56 trans in it and drive it, you know, maybe around the 600 kilowatt mark. And then, yeah, and then we'll see what happens if I'd be in one car. I'd love to crack 1,000 horsepower in. So yeah, that's probably way in the future, but yeah, that'd be sick. So Braden Shield asked, what is the one thing you are most looking forward to once the build is done, and what mods are you planning once she's legal? I think you're talking about the Patrol, of course. One thing I'm looking most forward to, honestly, is just daily driving it, being able to turn that key and hear that V8 fire up and knowing that I'm in a Patrol, which is weird, and I can just cruise around in it. Another thing I'm looking forward to is actually putting my foot down and being able to go. When I have my other Patrol with the RD in it, I'd have to really pick a point in traffic to pull out, because I didn't know if I was going to make it or not, if the car behind me was going to come up my ass, because of how I'd be foot to the floor, taking off from the lights, and people in their little Yaris's would just be pulling on me, like, and I'm foot to the floor, and I'm just sorting, and oh, it's just funny. But yeah, that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most. Aussie Bowhunter asks, hey mate, just wanted to know if you could show us some of your camera gear and setups you do for your YouTube videos, and the gear I normally use. Now, what I normally use for the videos is actually pretty basic. Right now I'm filming on my Hero 7 Black, so that's a GoPro. I've got a Hero 7 White and a Hero 7 Silver. So I use the other two Heroes because they're like a dulled down version of the Black, just for like action cameras, for like on the back. If I go to a drift event, I'll have a camera on the front, a camera on the back, so if they fall off, you know. I've had one of my GoPros fall off at like 110 Ks off my 31, and it was completely fine. And the 7 is just really good because it has, you can change a lot of settings in it, and it's probably the best. I'll probably end up getting a Hero 9 eventually with the mic mod, so you can hear me a bit better. Yeah, I just use two GoPros, and sometimes for like thumbnails and action shots, I use my phone just because it's got a nice camera on it. And yeah, and I've got a drone as well. I haven't really used a drone. I've got a Tello drone, so I'm going to try and use that a little bit more. Okay, Bailey Hill asks, do you like the adversity in the cars you own? Aussie, muscle, Jap, and four-wheel drive. Which category would happen to be your favorite? Yeah, I love the diversity of everything I have. That's what makes me love cars so much, is just to be into everything. Like I said, I'm a rare breed that loves absolutely everything. I love four-wheel driving, I love sports cars, I love exotics, I love muscle cars, I love Euros. Yeah, my favorite, that's really hard because they're so different in different aspects. Like bombing a freaking Skyline through the mountains is unbelievable, but then like jumping a four-wheel drive, so much fun. Favorite in terms of fun would probably be four-wheel driving, just because it's so much fun. And then doing track days and that is just, it's just an adrenaline rush. It's such an adrenaline rush. And then, you know, muscle cars, you just jump in it with a bench seat and cruise. So it's so hard to think what my favorite is. Oh, I'd say four-wheel driving. It'd have to be four-wheel driving, yeah. Jared Johnson asked, what sort of winch are you going to use? And is this a party bus, or are you going to go for a tour? So winch, I'll probably just whack a Dominator in it. Heaps of people I know use them and they're fine. And party bus, or I'm going to use it for a tour. Both, man. I'm gonna tour in it. This car actually has photos of it at sand dunes and high country and stuff. It's been everywhere from the previous owners, and it's been used as a party bus as well. So I'm going to try and go for both, and hopefully it's good at both of them. Prod Yisreg asks, you got $8 grand. What mods are you installing, and on which car? Also love your videos. Thanks, man. $8,000, and what mods am I installing? I'd say with $8 grand, I'll probably boss up the 32 a bit. So I'd whack a 6 boost manifold on it, 3076 turbo, put some head studs in it. If I got $8 grand, I might even, you know, do headwork and stuff like that, tune it, probably get about 400 kilowatt out of it, better gearbox. Yeah, that's probably what I'd do. Yeah, with $8 grand, that'll probably get us about 400 kilowatt mark in 32, and it'll sound insane too. Hayden Tull asks, what got you into cars and what started it all for you? Great question, man. I get asked this a lot. And what got me into cars initially, my dad's been drag racing most of his life. He worked for Bob Jane back in the day in the 80s, so I've got a lot of motorsport heritage in my background. having Craig Lowndes and stuff as a friend in our family back in the day. Sitting in the garage and watching, you know, Dad work on the drag car, or start the drag car. He used to have a I think it was HJ or HZ drag car, Monaro, back in the day, and that just, like, when he started, it just shake the windows and it scared the shit out of me, but I loved it. The smell of, you know, the ethanol, it was great. Yeah, just being brought up around it. Constantly going out to the country where my other half of my family grew up and riding motorbikes and just doing dumb shit with cars. Paddock bombs a lot. That's what got me into it, and never looked back since. And I love the diversity in cars, and you know, we have this attachment and a bond to a vehicle. You know, it's not just a piece of metal and wires and rubber that just gets us from A to B. It's just that bond you have inside with the car. It's just something different. And not a lot of people understand it, and not a lot of people will, but I know a lot of you guys do understand it, that cars are a little bit more than just a utensil. So yeah, cars, it was a thing. I think I was born with ethanol in my blood, not blood. That's what started it, just being around it, young kid. And then obviously Fast and Furious franchise has sort of helped get into the JDM world, and I love my Jap cars, so yeah. Craziest car story, Nigel Carter asks, craziest car story. That'll probably have to be that cop chase I mentioned earlier. Fraser Parsons asks, how do you edit your videos? I just use an editing software called Movavi. It's like 80 bucks and you buy it one time, you have to subscribe to anything, and it's so easy to use. I went into this not knowing anything about editing. I've never done it in my life. I sort of just self-taught myself, and yeah, that's how I edit. I'm pretty basic editing. I don't do a really good job, but yeah, I love to keep things simple. It makes for a better viewing experience when it's not too clustered and it just gets straight to the point. And yeah, that's how I edit my videos, just whack the editing software. What I do is I'll put the video out there, and I'll snip everything into the clip I want in one day. I'll go to bed, next day I'll get up, and then I'll actually add in, you know, music or cuts or whatever, and then put the video out. So just make it a little bit easier on myself. Hayden Mills asks, turbo or NA? Both. Driving a non-turbo car fast is fun as hell, and then obviously having a scary turbo car is fun as hell. So honestly, it's hard. The sound, it's hard for both, because you can have an NA, it sounds ridiculous with trumpets and stuff, and you can have a turbo, it sounds off its head with the screamer and gate and all that stuff. So I don't know, I'll probably go turbo just for the thrill, but NA is so much fun to drive fast. Justin Newman asks, hurry up and TD42 swap the Patrol. It will be faster. Good joke. Yeah, no, I'd like to get a TD42 in the future. Matt Eden asks, are you going to turbo the 31 Skyline? If so, when are you planning to do it? That's a good question, because I've been gathering stuff on the side for it, and hopefully going to be doing it very soon. So once this thing's on the road, I think that's probably what I'm going to be doing next in terms of the Jap cars. Probably, yeah, just do like a budget turbo. I've got a Chinese 3076 I want to whack on it. So yeah, we'll just do something like hectic. And yeah, hopefully that should be pretty cool. John Nathan asks, how did you go with the new coilovers on the 31 so far? Yeah, they've been good, man. So far, they've been fantastic. I haven't had any issues with them. Driven the car a couple of times, but I haven't really done a track day to sort of test them. So when I do a track day, obviously I'll do a video to cover it, and we'll see how the coilovers hold up. John Nathan also asks, what's a good size exhaust to throw on a 31 so it has a nice clean sound? Now, I've got a 2.5 inch all-round stainless. So it gives it a very raspy sort of RB sound. 2.5 inch catback is probably perfect. You don't want to get anything bigger. And on turbo doesn't need it. So 2.5 inch, that mild steel or stainless, whatever you can, what your budget wants you to do. James says, congratulations, mate. Videos are always amazing and great to watch. Keep up the good work. Cheers for the really, really nice comment, man. Appreciate it. Jesse Rowe asks, when are you buying a Barra? I've never owned a Barra before, and I'd actually love to own one. Barras are pretty cool. I've been in some quick ones, and they're sick. I was almost considering swapping the Barra into my XR, but I'm going to keep that a V8. When am I going to get a Barra? I'm not sure. I'd love to get an AU and like a Barra, like a turbo Barra in it, and just have some fun. That'd be cool. Yeah, and maybe in the future we'll get a Barra. We'll do like a budget Barra build. Even might make like a cheap Barra, like 10-second, try to do a quick 10-second car build or something on a budget, or we'll do like maybe a speedway car. We'll see what happens. You never know what the future may hold. Ethan Bateman asks, how do you know your way around the cars so well? Thanks, man. I don't think I know my way around cars very well, because obviously it's always a learning curve, but the way I don't know, just being ambitious and wanting to learn all the time just sort of gets me just to tear into cars a little bit more every time. Knowing that there's something that can be put back together, you don't need a specialist to do everything. You know, it just sort of makes you, when you have a car you build and you can drive, that you've done everything yourself, it gives you that, there's no other feeling. You know, I drive my 180 everywhere with my girlfriend, and sometimes she'll just say to me like, oh, it's weird driving a car that you built in your garage. Like, you know, engineers spend years of their lives building cars, like, you know, developing cars, and then for some average Joe to slap one together in his driveway and not break down on him, it's a crazy feeling, honestly, man. Like, it's amazing. So yeah, how do I know my way around cars? Just to be ambitious and get into it and just get involved and do a lot of learning, a lot of researching, and be patient. Patience is key. As cliche as it sounds, patience is key. But yeah, just take your time and yeah, just want to learn. Want to learn is probably the best thing. Mike Fenton asks, would you ever consider barra swapping the VL? Would be crazy to see that. Keep up the good content. Cheers, mate. Probably not barra swap the VL. I've seen a few barra swap VLs, they're nuts. But yeah, I kind of want to just keep it V8. That's just my personal preference. Yeah, but like I said, I'll probably end up doing a barra build somewhere in the future. And yeah, it'll be pretty fun. Chasey 2304 asks, what motivates you to get up and film videos after coming off night shift? Also love the videos, you're killing it. Cheers, man. Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Coming off night shift, it drains a lot because your body's not used to the weird patterns you get involved in. Yeah, honestly, what motivates me is I just tell myself, like, just get up, just don't be lazy, just, you know, life's too short just to mope around. And yeah, what motivates me is just that drive, just to get shit done. That's my motivation. Always expand, always keep moving, getting the ball rolling. That's my motivation, man. And I hope this can motivate any of you, honestly, because I get a lot of messages on my socials of people saying, you know, you've motivated me, you've done this, you've done that, which is insane. So yeah, any motivation is awesome. So yeah, thanks for the question, man. Yeah, the drive is what motivates me. Troy Woddy asks, you and Andrew from Clutch Kick Junkies should take the Skylines for a rip. Yeah, we should, man. We did a video not long ago, like 6 months ago when lockdown ended, and yeah, we took our Skylines to the hills and we got pulled over by cops. Yeah, we should do a video soon. We're actually talking about it at my meet. We're gonna go out to the hills and do another run soon with our Skylines. So yeah, very soon, man. We'll definitely do that. Tyrone 2 Johnson asks, what's the next car you will get? Next car I want to get. This is weird because I kind of want to get another Hyundai XL and turn it into a race car. Other than that, I don't know what I'll get. I kind of want a HJ Holden. Yeah, a HJ Prem will be cool. Or a HZ. Even a Subaru, do like a rally car. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see in the future videos. Blake Proctor asks, you have an XR Falcon and a VL Commodore. Best of both worlds. I agree. What about the real Aussie underdog? When are you going to get a Valiant to complete the trifecta, and what model? Bloody good question, man. I love Valiants. My best mate of Sean has a few Valiants. He's got a Vitamin C Valiant and he's got a VJ. He just sold the VJ, but he's got a VH as well. I'd love a VH, a Charger. That'd be sick. It's hard. I love Valiants, man. I used to work on heaps of Valiants back at my old job. Never know what might pop up in the future. You know, there's a few Valiants I've actually seen that I actually really like. And yeah, and they're still sort of attainable price as well. So yeah, maybe a Valiant one day, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I think we're getting up to the end of the questions, the last few questions, which is good. So I had to put compress a lot into similar questions together because it was just getting, it was going to be too long of a video, so I don't want to make it too long for you guys. Marconell asks, will you be doing a fan drive-alongs and big trips, say, to the High Country, Murray River and others? Yeah, I'd love to be doing, like, any subscriber that wants to come out, you know, if they're close by and they want to get out and have fun with us, more than welcome to. I might even do one session where we just go out with subscribers and have fun, even if it's like 30 trucks, who cares? That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, even High Country will be definitely on the works, and yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Jack asks, would you ever buy a Land Cruiser or a Toyota? Yeah, I've had heaps of Toyotas before. I've had a Celsior, I've had, you know, Crusaders. I would love to buy a Land Cruiser. They're very expensive, but yeah, they're worth the money because they're just Toyota reliability. I'd love to have a 105 series or an 80 series, 80 series preferably. Hopefully in the future we'll get ourselves an 80 series. I might do an 80 series build later on when I've got my new place. Expxn asks, are you thinking of turning the 180 into a drift car? Never, man, ever. It's my first car. I don't want to destroy it. I almost did turn to a drift car when I first got it, but I was 16 and young, dumb and full of cum. So nah, it's gonna be a straight car. Who knows, I might get another shell in the future and build a drift car. They're just getting so expensive. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Chris_R33, this is our last question. He asked, what is your dream job? My dream job, look, my dream job is, it's probably gonna surprise you guys. I've always wanted to be a race car driver. I've always wanted to race. I love racing. Circuit racing, being on someone's bumper bar at 250k an hour is just so much fun. And like learning braking, hard braking, you know, getting lap times to the millisecond, trying to go faster and faster with car setup and just driving skill. That's something that I love and I'd love to race. It's just so, motorsports is such an expensive hobby. I used to kart when I was young. I used to kart. I'm actually going to be getting a kart soon. So I'd love to get back into karting. I'd love to do circuit racing, just even if it's just like a junior championship, you know, I'm still young, so I'd love to get involved in something, even if it's like hill climbs, anything. I'd love to do any racing. Like, motorsports is an expensive hobby. It takes a lot to get sponsorships and stuff, so you never know, especially with the channel and that. I'd love to reach out to some people and maybe get involved in just doing some local events and stuff, even turning one of my cars into sort of a race orientated car. That'll be probably my dream job, is to race and get paid to race. That'll be amazing. Yeah, and it's just such a thrill, and I love racing. And growing up with you know, the Bathurst 1000, I watch motorsports a lot. I'm not a big fan of modern motorsports. I don't watch a lot of F1 like I used to. I do watch supercars, but I think, like, you know, the proper like thrill of motorsports isn't a lot what it used to be. I love it. Another hobby you guys might not know of is I actually race on simulators. I've got a racing wheel inside, and I play Assetto Corsa and iRacing and stuff like that. I love racing. It's so much fun. I used to race radio control cars when I was young. I used to race 1/10 scales. Yeah, I just love racing. That's my dream job, man, and I appreciate that question, because yeah, I do get asked that a lot, and that'll be my dream job, to get paid to race cars. All right, guys, so that was all the questions that I could put together that weren't all the same. Yeah, and I really hope you enjoyed listening to this really weird bloke behind the camera baffle on about his life. For any of you that stuck around for this whole video, thank you so much. You guys are absolute legends. I'll definitely probably do another question answer, maybe at like 10K or something. We'll get more involved with a few other things. I'm very transparent with things, so you can ask me any question and I will answer. I don't like to hide things. I like to be very transparent with people, because that's the way life should be. Just be easygoing and just share with the world. So thanks everyone for watching, and if you have any more questions, hit them up to me in the comments, and I'll keep them for the next Q&A I do. And yeah, and we'll see you in another video where we're building shitboxes and having fun. So you take care, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video. Ciao.